Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Good afternoon. I was going to say good morning. Good afternoon, folks, and welcome in. We have got a rather wet and rainy, not only Friday evening for some folks, but also weekend here across the First Coast. I'm meteorologist Ross Mumo, as always, here on our 4:30 Weather Watcher stream. Welcome into you. Happy Friday. Hopefully you have the rain boots, the rain jacket, the ponchos, whatever you might need to stay dry this weekend. The umbrella, perhaps. Hopefully you all have it close by that you can grab it quickly because you're more than likely going to need it, especially on Sunday. But at least for right now, let's give you a peek out the door. Can we switch it over to Max 2 over there then, Marlo? There we go. Yeah, so live look at satellite and radar here. We have had a strong line of thunderstorms actually making their way across the Suwannee Valley and the Okefenokee Swamp. So southeastern Georgia getting hit by some pretty heavy storms right now. So let's just give you a closer look at what we're talking about here. First and foremost, there's been a rather strong storm right over the Brunswick area. This kind of traversed on the northern end of Charlton County. So it crossed over US 1, headed up towards Waycross, through Highway 301, and has now reached and has passed over the I-95 corridor. There was some mid-level rotation initially within this storm. That thankfully has since subsided. But nonetheless, still some lightning, some heavy rainfall being seen just to the east of I-95 in central and northern Camden County, and also in the Brunswick area currently. Further southwest down the line, Folkston and northeastern Charlton County seeing a secondary storm here. A lot of lightning still seen in that. Heavy rainfall, but perhaps not nearly as strong as what Brunswick is currently seeing. And we do still just kind of have a broken line of storms further off down the line to the southwest. So this is a rather quick moving line of storms. You can think of the winds aloft in the atmosphere, 5, 10, 20,000 feet aloft. They're booking it at about 40 to 50 knots. So these storms and these showers themselves are moving to the east anywhere between about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So they are moving rather quickly, but because of that and the lack of kind of inflow into some of these storms, at least for the most part, the overall severe risk and tornado threat is rather low. Now, not to say we couldn't still see a severe storm. I think there is still a possibility, especially along the southern flank of the line. So if you live in northern Columbia County, north of Lake City, not only could you still see a storm, yes, but you do still have the chance to see a strong to perhaps severe storm. One, because there is some significant wind shear out there, producing wind gusts upwards of about 40 miles per hour. So I do expect everything to stay subsevere, but nonetheless, we're still going to continue to watch it. Also, still some warmer air left to be tapped into there on the southern end of the line, moving into northern Columbia County. So for folks who might be heading out to some Friday night football later this evening, of course, the Reigns Vikings hosting the Booker Tornadoes, our Sideline 2025 game of the week tonight. Yeah, you're probably going to need the rain jacket here later on this evening. Are we expecting widespread rain for the Jacksonville area for the rest of your Friday night? No, but there will still be some showers around. So I want to give you a look at the high-res futurecast here through the rest of your Friday night. That'll take you through, let's back it up a little bit here. There we go. So this is about right now what models are trying to show. They're typically about 30 minutes behind the models themselves. But nonetheless, I mean, doing a fairly good job of showing the showers and some of those isolated storms that are embedded within the line, something that, Robert Spett and I talked about a good bit yesterday. Here then is later on this evening, about after 7 p.m., I would say. So 7, 8, 9 p.m. in and around the Jacksonville metro. What's left of this line of storms is going to start to taper off and wither away, but it will move through the metro, Clay County, northern St. John's. So there will be some rain, primarily in the way of some lighter showers later on tonight. So I am not expecting a deluge out there for Friday Night Football, but just know there will be some rain later on this evening. As for tomorrow, most of us, although we have a weather impact alert in place, because it is going to be impactful in the way of just nuisance, kind of annoying weather. Most of us are not going to see a lot of rain tomorrow. It is going to be rather overcast, mostly cloudy skies at the very least, so perhaps some peaks of sunshine. But we are going to have periods, perhaps long duration or long drawn out periods of dry time tomorrow. I think many of us will just kind of see some light drizzle here or there, some off and on showers, just kind of a somewhat gray, cool, gross looking and feeling day to a certain regard. Best chances for rain during the daytime hours will certainly be north of I-10 across southeastern Georgia. So folks who are seeing rain right now from Brunswick to Folkston to Nahunta to Waycross even, you yet again have a good chance to see some rain throughout the daytime hours. Then, as you approach sunset, which is just before 5:30, I think it's 5:26, if I'm correct. As you approach sunset, then the steadier rain will be approaching. So 4, 5, 6 p.m. tomorrow evening, southeastern Georgia, heavier rain's going to begin to move in, and that will just gradually slide further southward through the rest of your Saturday evening and continue into the overnight period. So any Saturday night plans that you have, any evening plans? I know myself, I've got a Christmas party to attend tomorrow night at 7. Be prepared. Roadways are going to be wet. I'm not expecting a significant amount of ponding on the roadways, but just know things are going to be a little bit slick and slippery out on the roads if you are out and about at all tomorrow night. And this is all from this stalled front that is very, very slowly inching its way further to the south and southeast here over about the next 2 days. So this evening and the storms that we're seeing out there right now, right along that front, and the energy providing a little bit of some extra lift is this, what we call kind of a short wave energy, or this very small area of localized low pressure that's sliding right across the first coast. So that's what's being depicted here for your Friday night. Tomorrow, the front really just begins to drop southward. That's why all that rain is going to get pulled in from the north and will slide from north to south along and over that I-10 corridor through your Saturday evening and then into the overnight period. Sunday morning then rolls around. We're still expecting scattered to numerous showers. And then the afternoon, another low moves in from the northern or northeastern Gulf. That is going to pull in more energy, more moisture. And unfortunately, for anyone who does have any outdoor plans at all on Sunday, it is going to bring widespread rainfall, heavy downpours at times throughout the day on Sunday, bringing for some folks, yes, some very beneficial rainfall, but it will be a bit of a deluge at times out there on Sunday. So to kind of just piece it all together here a bit for you, as I mentioned at the top of the show here, we do still have that weather impact alert in place for, yes, both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, mainly just because it is going to be significantly cooler than we have out there right now. Temperatures currently, if I pull it up, many of us are in not only the upper 70s, but actually in the low 80s. Jacksonville's already hit 82 degrees here today. Let's see what some of the other locations are reporting currently. Yeah, so 81 in Jacksonville. You got 79 in Orange Park, St. Augustine, Keystone Heights as well. So temperatures low 80s today. Tomorrow will be significantly cooler. We're talking mid 60s for many of us, primarily due to just the overall cloud cover. But for locations like Waycross that are at a very chilly 54 right now, it'll be even cooler there tomorrow because you'll have a slightly better chance for some showers off and on throughout the day in Waycross. So yeah, I mean, that's a perfect depiction of what I'm talking about. Southeastern Georgia, especially inland locations, will struggle to get out of the 50s tomorrow. I hate to break it to you, but it's going to just be a very raw, damp, chilly day across southeastern Georgia. Really, from Kingsland to St. Mary's, up to Brunswick, over to Waycross, Folkston, it's not going to be a beautiful day. Now, the further south you go, the warmer it will get, especially the closer you get to the I-4 corridor. So if you're going to Tampa, Orlando, although there will be some isolated rain chances down there, there will be also some more sunshine. So lower 70s and upper 60s, pretty much from Keystone Heights and Palatka, further south for the I-10 corridor in the Jacksonville area. Most of us, we're going to be talking, mid 60s for most of the day for your Saturday. So I just kind of want to reiterate, southeastern Georgia for most of the day tomorrow kind of has the best chance for rain. Sunday will be a different story. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to break it down to more detail for exactly, the timing for the rainfall on Sunday, and how that is going to impact the Jags and Colts game. Stay tuned. We'll have more here for you coming up after the break. Welcome back in, folks. Before we kind of get into the rest of the forecast here, I want to just give you another look and update from our satellite and radar here. The strongest storm currently kind of situated over Suwannee County. It's about to move into really the northern half of Columbia County. Is producing wind gusts of anywhere from between about 30 and 40 miles per hour. It's moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. So arrival time, White Springs is pretty much right there right now, but Lake City, 10 after the hour, so that's at 5:10, Watertown 5:12, 5:29 for Clarking. Now, the northern extent of the storm that's moving through portions of Camden County and Nassau County, or will soon to be moving into Nassau County here, headed towards the Fernandina Beach area. Pretty similar timing. So Kingsland 4:51 for arrival time, Scottsville 4:58, St. Mary's shortly after 5 o'clock, and then Fernandina Beach at about 5:19. So we are still going to be dealing with the rain and storms here for about the next 30 to 45 minutes. I will say after we get past sunset, which is at 5:26, you're going to lose a lot of the heating and, an added factor of instability to it. Obviously, there's a lot of confluence or convergence at the surface that is providing uplift for the storms. And of course, just that area of low pressure that I had mentioned also along this front is providing some instability, but the daytime heating does that as well. Once the sun sets, the atmosphere typically becomes a little bit more stable. You have less heating and less mixing. The overall storm threat will begin to diminish. So I would really say after about 6:30, 7 p.m., the storm threat is over, and we'll just watch for some of those showers to make their way toward Jacksonville. So whatever is kind of left of the overall storm complex right now will make its way towards Jax after, I'd say, about 6 o'clock tonight. Let's talk about Sunday now. Of course, we talked a good bit about Saturday and the drizzle and the light showers that we're expecting kind of just off and on throughout the day. Sunday, a very, very different story. So for anyone who's waking up for book club, morning coffee, church, throwing up a couple of hallelujahs out there, make sure you have the umbrella. You do not want your hair, your Sunday's best, your hat to get wet or drenched as you're trying to walk in the doors. We are expecting widespread showers initially on Sunday, both as you're perhaps heading out to breakfast and on your way home from breakfast. So 8, 9, 10 a.m., It's going to be very chilly, temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s, and there will be showers around. As you progress through the late morning and into the early afternoon, it unfortunately just kind of gets worse. The rain continues to expand. You get a little bit of some extra instability from the heating in the day, although it won't be much. But you'll also have that surface low moving onshore, adding some extra energy and instability to it as well. So, and really also just kind of pulling in moisture from the northeastern Gulf. So widespread showers, numerous downpours, and even one or two isolated thunderstorms will be possible pretty much starting at lunchtime on Sunday and then continuing through the rest of the afternoon. Now, I will mention the storm risk is primarily from I-10 southward. Once you get to Sunday afternoon, that stalled front will have dropped over Jacksonville and will have moved south of I-10. Any strong to severe storms that, or really any storms that are expected to develop, will be along and below or south of that stalled front and boundary, which is expected to be south of Jacksonville by Sunday afternoon. So why am I talking about that so much? Well, because the Jags are at home on Sunday, 1 p.m. kickoff against the Indianapolis Colts. This is a huge game for AFC South supremacy. Both teams are at 8-4. The Jags have 2 games against the Colts here coming up over, the next month and a half. And, I mean, who wins these games could perhaps dictate who wins the division. If not, maybe the Houston Texans might make things interesting. But nonetheless, I digress. The lightning risk, I would say, is about 5%, 10% at best. As I mentioned, any storms should develop south of downtown in the Jacksonville area. So we're talking Southern Clay, St. John's, Putnam, Flagler, a slightly better chance for some storms. Around Jacksonville, we're really just expecting showers, heavy rainfall at times throughout the game. So probably really can't stress this enough for you. If you're planning on going to the Jags game and you're planning on tailgating, get out there early and set up the easy up. You want that tent up early. That allows some time for things to dry around your tailgate. Have the rain boots handy. You're going to need a jacket to try and stay dry out there. You cannot take umbrellas into the stadium, but expect showers to be around in the morning, and more than likely it's only going to pick up as the day wears on. So by the time you're going into the game, it's pretty much just going to be a steady rain, and then, as I mentioned, at times a downpour. Also, not really feeling all that warm. I mean, rain and low 60s, that's pretty dang chilly out there. So the hand warmers also would probably be a good idea. God bless if you're heading out to the game this weekend. It is going to be a slop fest. I would expect both teams to run the ball significantly. The turnover batter might be a big deal, although I mean it typically is, but especially in a game where you're expecting the field to be sloppy and slippery, the ball to be wet as well. Ball handling and ball control is going to be a big thing, so expect a heavy dose of Travis Etienne and a heavy dose of Jonathan Taylor from both running attacks to really just try and pound the ball through most of the game, because I am not expecting a whole lot of dry time for the Jags game out there this weekend. So as I mentioned, lightning risk is low, but are we anticipating rain pretty much all day long on Sunday? Yes. So really just kind of wrap it up and tie a bow on the weekend here. We'll break it down in 4 parts. Weather impact alert will be in place for the whole weekend, but Saturday will be the better of the 2 days. So Saturday morning, some off and on light drizzle. There will be plenty of pockets of dry time, despite it being a little bit cooler and fairly overcast through most of the day. That steadier rainfall looks to arrive after sunset Saturday night. So if you're driving around at all or traveling, you got outdoor plans Saturday evening, expect there to be some wet roadways out there. And that's really just going to continue pretty much all day long on Sunday. It is going to be soggy, very wet and damp, heavy rain at times by Sunday afternoon with some of those embedded thunderstorms, primarily south of Jacksonville, come Sunday afternoon and early evening. Now, beyond that, we'll have some lingering showers on Monday, but drier air is going to be swept in across the first coast, so we will gradually dry out as Monday wears on. Cooler air is brought in by Tuesday, so high temperatures will struggle to get out of the upper 50s and even reach the low 60s for many of us on Tuesday afternoon. Low temperatures low 40s, upper 30s for some folks out there. So a cooler outlook by the start of early next week, but drier skies primarily through really most of next week, even into the end of next week, and a little bit warmer of an outlook as well. So we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll kind of just tie everything up with the overall 7-day forecast. And of course, despite Lewis Turner not being here, we got to do our picks this week. We're taking the conference championship games, ACC, SEC, Big Ten, and Big 12. Stay tuned. Come back. We'll let you know who we're taking this week. Coming up. Welcome back in, folks. Of course, Friday tradition. Lewis Turner and I always do our pick'ems. We have done it every single week. Hard to believe we're now to week 15 conference championship weekend. Many of the games going to be on ABC 25. We'll get to that in a second. But of course, we got to always just show you what the current record is. Now, it is, for the most part, I would say 75 to 80% SEC season record. We have intermixed a few games recently, especially last week, rivalry week. There weren't a ton of great SEC games. But nonetheless, I still got a nine-game lead on Lewis Turner. We were both 5-3 last week. So here are the games. First up on ABC at noon, the Big 12, I think it's Dr. Pepper or Phillips 66, Big 12 championship, whatever it's called. The BYU Cougars against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And Lou and I, surprisingly, both going with Tech. I wanted to take BYU because their starting quarterback's first name is Bear, B-E-A-R, and his brother, Tiger, also plays on the team. I think that's a really cool thing to do with your son's names. And I also just watched a documentary on something in Utah. But nonetheless, I do think Texas Tech and the Red Raiders probably a little bit of a stronger team, so I do expect them to take it. SEC Championship, the Georgia Bulldogs and the Tide kicking off at 4 p.m. Surprisingly, Lou and I both taking the Bulldogs and UGA in this one. I did not expect that from Lou, but I do think Georgia just plays a little bit more consistently. Alabama, they were a little shaky last week against Auburn. I'm not 100% sold on them. So I think that will be a very, very close game. It might come down to the wire. The ACC championship game, Duke against Virginia. Both of us taking UVA in that one. Kickoff at 8 p.m. on ABC. And then the Big Ten championship between the Hoosiers and those dreaded Buckeyes. I hate to do this because I despise with a passion Ohio State. Everything really Ohio State related, I'm not going to lie, I hate. But I do think Ohio State probably is the best team in the country. I chose against them last week. I took Michigan probably when I shouldn't have because I was thinking with my heart instead of my head. Not doing that this week. I'm taking Ohio State, as is Lou. So we're going the exact same games here this week. We'll see. We're either we're going to go 4-0 or perhaps might go